Chapter 1. A chance encounter. Rain poured relentlessly over the city streets, turning the pavement into a reflective mosaic of lights. Maya hurried along, her umbrella struggling against the wind as she clutched her portfolio tightly. Today was the opening of her first solo art exhibit, a culmination of years of sketches, late nights, and quiet determination. Every step felt urgent, as if the universe was urging her to reach the gallery on time. In her rush, she failed to notice the man coming from the opposite direction until it was too late. The collision sent her coffee cup tumbling, and warm liquid splashed across his coat. Maya gasped and stumbled back, horrified. "I am so sorry. I was not paying attention," she said, her voice trembling with embarrassment. The man looked down at the stain and then at her, and for a moment, there was a flicker of surprise in his eyes. Then a small, understanding smile appeared. "It is okay. Accidents happen." His voice was calm and gentle, carrying a warmth that immediately eased her panic. Maya's eyes met his, and for the briefest moment, the rain and the bustling street around them seemed to disappear. There was something in the depth of his gaze that caught her off guard. Something familiar, yet completely new. "I am heading to an art gallery," Maya said, realizing she had to explain herself. "I am already late, but I need to get there." He nodded, and gestured toward the direction she needed to go. "I can walk with you if you want. It might be faster this way." Her surprise was evident, but she nodded, grateful for the unexpected companionship. As they walked, their conversation began awkwardly, with small exchanges about the rain and the city, but gradually, it flowed into something more natural. They talked about their work, their dreams, and fleetingly, their favorite little joys in life. Maya found herself laughing at a comment he made about street performers, and she realized she had not smiled like this in a long time. There was a lightness to him, a presence that made her forget the weight of deadlines and expectations. By the time they reached the gallery, the rain had slowed to a soft drizzle. Maya hesitated for a moment, reluctant to end their walk. "Thank you," she said sincerely, her fingers brushing against the strap of her portfolio, "for walking with me and for being so understanding." He looked at her, the corners of his mouth lifting in a gentle smile. "It was my pleasure. Maybe we will see each other again." Maya nodded, a flutter of anticipation and curiosity warming her chest. She stepped into the gallery, her heart still racing from an encounter. Outside, the city continued its chaotic rhythm, but inside her, a small spark had been lit, one she could not ignore. For the first time in a long time, she felt that something unexpected and beautiful might be waiting just around the corner. Chapter 2. Unlikely conversations. Following morning, the city seemed washed anew after the rain. Sunlight pierced through the clouds in soft golden rays, painting the streets with a quiet warmth. Maya decided to stop by a small cafe near her studio, hoping to gather her thoughts before the exhibit opened. She had no intention of seeing anyone in particular, yet the universe had other plans. Liam sat at a corner table, a notebook open before him, his fingers tracing absent-minded patterns on the page. He had not expected to run into Maya again so soon, yet the memory of her laughter lingered in his mind. When she walked in, shaking off the last droplets of rain from her coat, their eyes met across the room. Both paused, caught between surprise and the strange comfort of familiarity. Maya smiled, a little shyly, and he gestured to the empty seat across from him. She hesitated but then crossed the room, setting her portfolio on the table and tucking a stray lock of hair behind her ear. "Good morning," Liam said, his voice carrying a warmth that made her chest lift. "I did not expect to see you here." "Good morning," Maya replied, feeling a blush creep across her cheeks. "I just needed some coffee and quiet before the exhibit chaos begins." They began talking, tentatively at first, exchanging small pleasantries about the weather and the morning rush. But soon, the conversation deepened, flowing effortlessly as they shared fragments of their lives. Maya spoke of her art, the late nights spent perfecting sketches, and the insecurities that often made her doubt her talent. Liam listened intently, nodding occasionally, and then revealed that he was a musician who had taken a long break after a painful heartbreak. I stopped playing for a while, he admitted quietly, because I felt like I had lost the joy in it. It was hard to face the music without remembering the past. Maya's heart softened at his honesty. I understand that, she said gently. Sometimes pursuing what we love also reminds us of everything we fear we cannot have. But I think those fears show that we still care deeply. Their conversation meandered between dreams and regrets, favorite songs and hidden places in the city where they found solace. Every word, every glance, seemed to create a quiet connection that neither of them had expected. Time passed unnoticed, and when they finally looked around, the cafe had begun to fill with other patrons. I should go, Maya said reluctantly, gathering her belongings. I have so much to do before the exhibit tonight. Liam nodded, though reluctant tension lingered in his eyes. I understand, but I hope we can do this again sometime. Talking to you feels easy. In a way I have not felt in a long time. Maya smiled, a warmth spreading through her chest. I would like that. As she stepped out into the bright morning, she felt an unfamiliar flutter of anticipation. The encounter was brief, but it had left an impression that would linger throughout her day. Liam watched her go, a smile tugging at his lips, feeling a quiet hope that their paths would continue to cross, for both of them. What had started as a chance meeting in the rain was slowly becoming something more meaningful. A connection that neither expected but both secretly welcomed. Chapter 3. Shared moments. Evening air was crisp as Maya arrived at the gallery, her heart beating in a mixture of excitement and nerves. She had spent months preparing for this night, and every painting displayed on the walls carried a fragment of her soul. Guests mingled quietly, murmuring their appreciation, but her mind was distracted by one thought. Liam. When he arrived, he carried a small, polite smile, his presence immediately grounding her scattered emotions. He looked around with genuine interest, pausing before each piece, taking in the colors, the brushstrokes, and the emotion behind them. Maya watched him from across the room, her chest warming at the intensity with which he observed her work. You poured so much into these, he said softly, stepping closer. I can feel your thoughts and your emotions in every piece. It is beautiful. Maya felt her cheeks flush. Thank you. That means more than you know. As the evening progressed, they drifted together from one corner of the gallery to another, sharing thoughts, anecdotes, and quiet laughter. Liam pointed out details in her paintings she had almost forgotten she had included, and she marveled at his attentiveness. In return, she listened to him speak about the songs he was working on, the melodies that had taken shape in his mind but had never fully come to life. They found themselves lingering in a quiet alcove of the gallery, the hum of conversation around them fading into a gentle background noise. Liam picked up a small sketch that Maya had tucked away in a frame. You created this? He asked, tracing a finger along the delicate lines. Yes, she said, watching his eyes soften. It was inspired by a memory, a fleeting feeling that I wanted to capture before it disappeared. Liam smiled, his voice low and sincere. It is extraordinary. I think this is how art and music are alike. We both try to capture something fleeting, something we cannot hold, but want to share with the world. Maya nodded, feeling a profound connection in that shared understanding. For the first time, it felt as though someone truly saw her, beyond the surface of her paintings, beyond the barriers she so carefully built around herself for later. They slipped outside into the quiet night. The streets were glistening from a recent rain, and the city lights reflected like scattered stars on the wet pavements. Liam offered his arm, and Maya accepted, feeling the warmth of his presence and the comfort of his company. They walked together, talking about everything and nothing, They shared childhood memories, small secrets, and dreams they had not voiced to anyone else. At one point, Liam paused, turning to her with a gentle intensity. "I am glad I met you, Maya," he said softly. "You make me feel hopeful again, in ways I did not think were possible." Maya's heart swelled, and she found herself smiling, unable to look away. "I feel the same way," she admitted. "It is strange, but wonderful, to feel this connection with someone so quickly." They lingered there for a moment, the sounds of the city muted around them. Wrapped in the quiet intimacy of the evening, there was no need for grand gestures or proclamations. The simple act of being together, of sharing these moments, was enough. As they finally parted for the night, Maya's mind replayed every word, every laugh, every glance. For both of them, it was a night that would linger in memory. A night when their lives had intersected in ways that felt both inevitable and magical. In the stillness of her apartment later that night, Maya realized that her heart had shifted. What had begun as a chance encounter in the rain was becoming something far more profound, something that promised laughter, understanding, and perhaps the start of love. Chapter 4. Growing closer. Following week, the city seemed to hum with quiet possibility. Maya found herself thinking about Liam more than she expected, her mind replaying their conversations. His laugh, the gentle way he looked at her paintings. When she received a message from him asking if she wanted to meet for a late afternoon coffee, she smiled, a flutter of excitement warming her chest. They met at a small, sunlit cafe tucked between two older buildings, the aroma of fresh pastries and roasted coffee beans filling the air. Liam was already there, seated near the window, his notebook open but forgotten as he glanced up to greet her. "Hi," Maya said, sliding into the seat opposite him. "Hi," Liam replied, his eyes lighting up. "It is good to see you again." They began with casual conversation, discussing the gallery and the subtle chaos of city life. Soon, however, their dialogue shifted, growing more personal, more intimate. Liam spoke about the music he had been creating, the melodies that were slowly returning to him after months of silence. Maya shared her anxieties about her next series of paintings, her fear of not being good enough, and the way doubt sometimes clouded her passion. "You put yourself out there in your art," Liam said thoughtfully. "It takes courage to let people see what is inside your heart." Maya looked down at her hands, feeling a warmth at his words. "Sometimes I feel like it is easier to hide," she admitted softly, "but with you, it feels like I can breathe a little easier." Liam smiled, a quiet understanding in his gaze. "I feel the same. You make me want to be honest, to trust again." After coffee, they decided to take a walk through the nearby park. The leaves were just beginning to turn with the season, painting the paths in shades of amber and gold. They strolled side by side, sometimes talking, sometimes enjoying the comfortable silence. Liam pointed out a cluster of trees that reminded him of a melody, and Maya laughed, imagining the tune weaving through the branches. As the afternoon stretched into evening, their connection deepened naturally. They shared small gestures of intimacy, a hand brushing against another, a shared smile that lingered longer than necessary. Friends and family would later notice subtle changes, the brightness in Maya's eyes, the ease in Liam's posture, but for now, it was just them, discovering each other slowly. At one point, they paused by a small fountain. Water sparkled in the fading light, and Liam turned to Maya, his expression tender. "I am glad we met," he said softly. "I think life has a way of bringing people together when they need it most." Maya nodded, her heart swelling. I am glad too. It feels like something important is starting here." They lingered a little longer, reluctant to end the day. When they finally parted, it was with a promise to see each other again soon. A shared understanding that their bond was growing into something neither had anticipated, but both welcomed wholeheartedly. As Maya walked home that evening, she felt a mixture of excitement and serenity. The world seemed a little brighter, a little more alive. Liam's presence had brought a new rhythm to her days, a melody she could not ignore. For both of them, what had begun as a chance encounter was evolving into a connection that held the promise of something deeper, a love built on understanding, shared moments, and the courage to open their hearts. Chapter 5. Past shadows. Days that followed were filled with laughter and shared moments. But beneath the surface, old fears and past pain quietly lingered. Liam found himself thinking about the heartbreak that had once silenced his music. He had trusted someone completely and had been left with an ache he thought would never fade. Even now, when he smiled with Maya, a shadow of that loss remained, reminding him that opening his heart again was not without risk. One afternoon, they met at a quiet park bench overlooking the river. The late sun painted the water in soft golds and pinks, but Liam's thoughts were elsewhere. Maya chatted animatedly about her newest sketches, her eyes sparkling with excitement, yet he struggled to respond fully. Caught in the tension between desire and fear. "Maya," he said finally, his voice low, "I want to be honest with you. There are parts of me I cannot ignore, and I am not sure how to reconcile them with us." Maya tilted her head, concern flickering across her face. "What do you mean? I had someone before," he admitted, "someone I trusted completely, and it ended in a way I never expected. It left me guarded. I want to be with you, truly, but sometimes my past makes it hard to let go entirely." Maya's heart softened, but a subtle tension grew within her. She understood fear all too well. "I get that," she said gently. "I carry my own doubts. Every time I create something, I wonder if it is good enough, if people will see me as I see myself. I fear rejection, failure. Sometimes I wonder if I am capable of this kind of connection." Liam reached out, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "You are capable," he said sincerely. "And I want to be here, with you, despite the past, despite the fear." For a moment, they sat in silence, the river flowing quietly beside them. The beauty of the scene contrasted sharply with the heaviness of their thoughts, yet it was in that shared vulnerability that a new depth of understanding began to form. Over the next few days, small insecurities surfaced in both of them. Maya hesitated to share some of her work, fearing his judgment, while Liam found himself holding back, afraid of opening up too quickly and being hurt. Their interactions were tender but cautious, a delicate dance between trust and self-protection. One evening, Liam played a soft melody on his guitar at his apartment. Maya listened, mesmerized by the emotion that poured from the strings. The music spoke of longing, of lessons learned from heartbreak, and of hope for something new. She realized then that their connection was not just fleeting happiness. It was a chance for healing, a way to reconcile their fears with the possibility of love. "You don't have to carry the past alone," Maya said softly, her hand resting lightly on his. "We can take this one step at a time." Liam's eyes met hers, gratitude and longing mingling in his gaze. "I want that, more than anything. I want that with you." Even as their hearts leaned closer, the shadows of doubt reminded them both that love required courage. They had to confront their pasts, their insecurities, and the fear of vulnerability. Yet, despite the tension, they also discovered a profound truth. The willingness to risk pain was the same willingness that could allow love to grow stronger than either of them had ever imagined. As Maya walked home that night, she felt the familiar flutter of hope intertwined with apprehension. Liam's presence in her life had awakened something delicate but powerful, a connection that demanded honesty, courage, and trust. And though the past still whispered in the corners of their minds, they were beginning to understand that facing it together might be the only way to truly move forward. Chapter 6. Misunderstandings. Morning started like any other, with the city buzzing quietly outside Maya's window. The sunlight filtered through her curtains, casting a warm glow on her sketches spread across the table. She had planned to meet Liam at a small cafe after her morning errands, looking forward to sharing her latest ideas with him. But when she arrived, he was nowhere to be seen. She waited, sipping her coffee, watching the door for any sign of him. When he finally appeared, slightly breathless and smiling, Maya noticed something off. His smile seemed tentative, guarded, and he avoided her eyes. "Sorry I am late," he said quickly, sitting down. "I got caught up with some errands." Maya tried to smile, but a flicker of doubt crept in. "It's okay. I was just surprised." They began to talk, but the conversation felt strained. Liam seemed distracted, checking his phone occasionally, and Maya could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. She replayed every moment from the past week, wondering if she had said or done something to upset him. After a pause, Maya decided to confront her unease. "Liam, is everything okay?" she asked softly. He hesitated, his fingers drumming lightly on the table. I just have a lot on my mind. Nothing to do with you." Maya nodded, though her heart tightened. She wanted to trust him, but the lingering uncertainty made her anxious. "I understand," she said quietly, pushing her coffee cup aside. As the day went on, their communication remained clipped and awkward. Small misunderstandings, minor misinterpretations of text messages, and unspoken worries began to pile up. Maya wondered if Liam's past heartbreak was making him pull away, while Liam questioned whether he was overthinking every little thing she said. Their friends noticed the tension as well. At a casual gathering that evening, a mutual friend gently prodded them to talk. "You two have been acting a little distant," the friend said with a smile. "Maybe it's time to be honest with each other." Maya and Liam exchanged a glance, a silent acknowledgement that they had been letting assumptions and fear of vulnerability drive a wedge between them. After everyone left, they sat on a quiet bench under a canopy of softly glowing streetlights. "Maya, I am sorry if I seemed distant," Liam began, his voice earnest. "I did not mean to make you feel ignored. I just overthink sometimes, and I let my past influence the present." Maya reached for his hand, her own fingers trembling slightly. "I overthought too," she admitted. "I let my insecurities cloud how I saw things. I should have trusted you, instead of imagining the worst." They sat in silence for a moment, the sounds of the city muted by the weight of their shared honesty. The misunderstanding that had grown over days dissolved in that quiet exchange, replaced by a renewed sense of connection and trust. "I do not want small fears or assumptions to come between us," Liam said softly. "You mean too much to me." "For that," Maya smiled, feeling the tension drain from her chest. "You mean too much to me as well. I want us to be honest, even when it is hard." They lingered on the bench, hands entwined, hearts open to the vulnerability that had once felt daunting. The misunderstanding, though painful, had become a catalyst for growth, teaching them that trust required both courage and patience. By the time they finally rose to leave, the city had grown quieter, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of blooming flowers. Maya felt lighter than she had in days, and Liam's arm around her shoulders felt like a promise that they could face any challenge together. As they walked home, side by side, both understood that love was not only about shared laughter and joy, but also about confronting doubts, misunderstandings, and fears, and choosing to trust each other despite them. Chapter 7. Realizations. The evening sky stretched out like a canvas above the city, painted in shades of deep indigo and soft violet. Stars twinkled faintly, barely visible through the distant glow of streetlights, yet their presence felt significant to Maya. As she met Liam at the park they had come to favor over the past weeks, there was a quiet anticipation in the air, a sense that tonight would bring clarity to feelings they had only begun to acknowledge. They found their usual bench beneath a cluster of trees, the leaves whispering in the gentle night breeze. For a few moments, neither spoke, letting the calmness settle around them. The rhythm of the city faded, leaving only the soft sound of their breathing and the occasional distant hum of traffic. "I have been thinking," Liam said finally, his voice low and deliberate, "about us, about how quickly this connection between us has grown. It feels real, but I keep wondering if I am ready to fully open my heart again." Maya's chest tightened. She had been feeling the same unease, the fear that her past insecurities or his previous heartbreak might sabotage the closeness they had built. "I understand," she said softly. "I feel that too. Sometimes I worry that I am not enough, or that I might push you away without meaning to." He reached out, taking her hand gently, their fingers intertwining. "I think that is the thing about love," he said. "It asks us to be brave. It asks us to be vulnerable, even when our past has made us cautious. And I am willing to take that risk with you." Maya felt a warmth spread through her chest, the fear slowly giving way to a quiet courage. "I am willing to," she whispered. "I do not want fear to control what we have. I want us to trust each other, to let this connection grow, no matter what comes next." They sat together in silence for a while, letting the words settle, and the unspoken understanding deepen between them. The past, with all its shadows and lessons, had shaped them, but it no longer dictated the present. Tonight, they were free to simply be themselves, honest and unguarded. Liam tilted his head slightly, looking at Maya with an intensity that made her heart flutter. "There is something rare about this," he said, "the way we understand each other, even without words. I have felt connections before, but none like this." Maya smiled, a gentle laugh escaping her lips. "It feels like the world slows down when we are together, like everything else fades into the background. I have never felt this way before, and it is terrifying and wonderful at the same time." He squeezed her hand, a silent affirmation. Shared feelings, terrifying and wonderful. That is exactly how love should feel. As the stars began to emerge more brightly in the night sky, they leaned closer, resting their heads near each other, savoring the comfort and warmth of their closeness. Words were unnecessary. The quiet intimacy spoke volumes. Each glance, each subtle gesture, conveyed what their hearts could not yet fully express. In that moment, Maya and Liam realized that love was not just about passion or fleeting happiness. It was about understanding, trust, and the willingness to face insecurities together. The connection they shared was rare, fragile yet resilient, and worth nurturing with patience and honesty. When they finally rose to leave, the night air felt lighter, filled with possibility. Their hands remained entwined, a quiet promise that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them side by side. The realization of their feelings was no longer just a whisper in their hearts, it was a steady flame, one that neither would let fade. For both of them, the night marked a turning point. Fear and doubt had been acknowledged, but love had emerged stronger, illuminating a path forward filled with hope, trust, and the promise of shared dreams. Chapter 8, Taking Risks. Weekend arrived with a sense of anticipation that neither Maya nor Liam could ignore. The city hummed quietly in the early evening, streetlights casting a soft glow on the damp pavement. Liam had invited Maya to a small gathering at his friend's apartment, a casual event with music, laughter, and the chance for both of them to share a part of themselves in a new way. Maya arrived, her nerves tingling with excitement and uncertainty. She carried a small, wrapped canvas she had been working on in secret, unsure of how Liam would react. The artwork was deeply personal, inspired by the journey they had shared since the rainy evening of their first encounter. Each brushstroke captured a memory, a feeling, a moment that had come to define their growing connection. When Liam saw her, his face lit up with a smile that made her heart leap. He guided her inside, introducing her to friends and blending seamlessly into the warmth of the gathering. Yet, it was clear that their attention remained tethered to each other. Even amidst the crowd. As the night unfolded, laughter and music filled the room. Liam strummed his guitar softly in a corner, his melodies weaving through the conversations like threads of emotion. Maya watched him, captivated not only by the skill in his fingers, but by the vulnerability he allowed himself to display. He was sharing a part of himself that few people had ever seen, and it stirred something deep within her. When Liam set down his guitar, he looked at Maya, a quiet determination in his eyes. "Would you like to see something?" he asked. He played a song he had written specifically for her, the lyrics and melody imbued with tenderness, longing, and hope. Each note resonated with honesty, reflecting the bond they had been cultivating. Maya listened, her eyes brimming with emotion, feeling the weight of unspoken words finally take form in music. After the song ended, Maya stepped forward, her hands trembling slightly as she revealed her painting. The room fell silent, all attention drawn to the vivid canvas she held. It was a depiction of two figures standing beneath a starlit sky, their hands almost touching, illuminated by the soft glow of shared connection. Every color, every stroke, mirrored the emotions they had experienced together, the uncertainty, the courage, the joy, and the fragile hope that love demanded. Liam's eyes widened, and for a moment, he simply stared, unable to find words. Then he reached out, his fingers lightly brushing hers. This is incredible," he whispered. "You captured everything I feel and more. I can see us here, in this moment, in every detail." Maya felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes, overwhelmed by the depth of the response and the vulnerability they were both sharing. "I wanted you to see how much this means to me, how much you mean to me," she admitted softly. They stood together, the room around them fading into the background. It was as if the music, the painting, and the quiet connection they shared had created a small universe of their own, where only their hearts mattered. Later, as they walked home beneath the city lights, their hands entwined, Maya felt a sense of exhilaration mixed with serenity. They had taken risks sharing their art, their music, and their deepest emotions, and had discovered that vulnerability could bring them closer, rather than push them apart. "I never thought I could feel this safe and seen at the same time," Liam said, his voice gentle but certain. "You make me want to keep trying, to keep opening up, no matter how scary it feels." Maya smiled, resting her head lightly against his shoulder. "I feel the same way, taking this risk, being honest. It is terrifying, but it is worth it because of you." The night air carried a sense of promise, a quiet affirmation that love required courage, honesty, and the willingness to take chances. For Maya and Liam, this chapter of their journey was more than shared moments. It was a testament to the power of vulnerability, the beauty of trust, and the strength of a connection that could endure even the uncertainties of life. As they finally reached their separate homes, both felt a lingering warmth, a certainty that the risks they had taken were not in vain. Their hearts had been bared, and in doing so, they had discovered a bond more profound than either could have imagined, a bond that would guide them through the challenges and joys yet to come. Chapter 9. Overcoming Obstacles. Morning air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of blooming flowers from a nearby park. Maya sat at her studio window, staring at her sketches spread across the table, her mind swirling with a mixture of excitement and uncertainty. She had just received an offer for an art residency abroad, an incredible opportunity to grow as an artist, yet the thought of leaving the city, leaving Liam, stirred a restless tension within her. Liam, meanwhile, struggled with his own doubts, though he cherished every moment with Maya. The lingering fear of inadequacy and his past heartbreak quietly whispered warnings. He questioned whether their connection was strong enough to endure distance, whether their trust could survive the challenges that life might throw at them. They met that afternoon at their favorite park, the river glinting under the soft light of late afternoon. Both were aware that this conversation was inevitable, and the quiet between them carried the weight of unspoken fears. "Maya," Liam began, his voice hesitant, I got your message about the residency. I am so proud of you, truly. But I worry about how this will affect us. Maya took a deep breath, clutching her bag as she searched for the right words. I was scared to tell you at first because I do not want to hurt what we have. This opportunity is everything I have been working toward. But leaving you behind, it feels impossible to think about. Liam reached for her hand, his grip reassuring. I understand. And I do not want to hold you back. I want you to follow your dreams. I do not want to lose what we have, even for a little while. They walked slowly along the riverbank, each step heavy with thought. Maya spoke of her fear that distance might weaken their bond, while Liam admitted his insecurity, that he might not be enough to support her from afar. The conversation was raw, honest, and at times painfully uncomfortable, but neither turned away. Finally, they paused near a small wooden bridge, the sunlight casting gentle reflections on the water. Liam lifted Maya's hand to his lips, brushing a soft kiss across her knuckles. We will figure this out together, he said softly. Distance does not have to be a barrier if we trust each other and communicate. I believe in us. Maya felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes, a mixture of relief and emotion flooding through her. I want that too. I want us to face this together, no matter how hard it might be. They spent the rest of the afternoon planning, discussing ways to stay connected, sharing their hopes for the future, and acknowledging the challenges they would face. Every choice they made was an act of courage and commitment, a declaration that their love was worth navigating obstacles for. In the following days, Maya prepared for her departure with Liam by her side, their bond strengthened by the open honesty they had shared. He helped her pack, offering encouragement and quiet support, reminding her of the importance of following her dreams, and she, in turn, reassured him of her trust, of her belief that what they had was stronger than any distance. The night before her departure, they walked together under the starlit sky, the city quiet and serene. Liam held her close, his forehead resting against hers, their breaths mingling in the cool night air. No matter where you go, you will always have me, he whispered, and you will always have me. Maya replied, her voice steady, despite the emotions swirling inside. In that moment, they understood that love was not only about shared laughter or fleeting joy. It was about commitment, compromise, and the courage to face challenges together. Though the future was uncertain, their hearts were aligned, their connection resilient, and their trust unshakable. As Maya boarded her plane the next morning, she looked out the window at the fading city below, feeling a bittersweet mixture of anticipation and longing. Liam waved from the terminal, a reassuring smile on his face, and she knew that no matter the miles between them, their love would endure. They were learning that true love was not about avoiding obstacles, but embracing them together, hand in hand, heart with heart. And in that realization, they found hope, strength, and a quiet certainty that their bond would survive whatever challenges lay ahead. Chapter 10. Crossing our star-studded evening air was soft and calm, carrying the scent of jasmine from nearby gardens. Maya stepped off the train and took a deep breath, feeling the familiar rhythm of the city beneath her feet. It had been months since she had left for her art residency. Months of long nights, new experiences, and moments of both triumph and longing. Yet through it all, her thoughts had returned to Liam, to the warmth of his presence and the quiet strength of their connection. She had arranged to meet him at the small cafe, where they had shared their first meaningful conversation. As she approached, she saw him sitting at their usual table, his guitar resting against the chair beside him. Liam looked up, and the instant their eyes met, a smile broke across his face that made her heart skip a beat. It was the same smile that had first captivated her, the smile that had carried both warmth and the promise of home. Maya, he said, standing to greet her, his voice filled with emotion. You're here, I'm here. She replied, her own smile matching his, a mixture of relief and joy. She crossed the room, and they embraced. A hug that spoke volumes, months of distance, longing, and quiet hope condensed into that single moment. They sat together, hands entwined. As they shared stories of the months apart, Maya spoke of her artistic growth, the challenges she had faced, and the friendships she had formed. Liam shared the songs he had written, melodies inspired by their time together and the strength he found in their bond. Every word, every glance, reinforced the truth they had discovered long ago. Their connection was enduring, resilient, and real. After a while, Liam led Maya outside to the quiet street where they had first met under the rain. The city lights reflected softly on the wet pavement, reminiscent of that night when fate had brought them together. They walked side by side, laughter spilling between them as they recalled their first awkward meeting, the spilled coffee, and the spark that had ignited that evening. "I remember that night," Liam said, his fingers brushing lightly against hers. "I never imagined that a simple collision in the rain would lead to this to us." Maya laughed softly, the sound carrying a lightness she had not felt in months. "I never imagined it either. It feels like the universe was nudging us together, slowly, carefully, until we were ready to recognize it." They reached a small park bench under a canopy of stars, the same quiet, magical feeling surrounding them as it had in their first deep conversation. Liam pulled Maya close, resting his forehead against hers. "We crossed so many obstacles to get here," he murmured. "Distance, doubts, fears, and yet, here we are. Stronger, closer, and ready for everything that comes next." Maya smiled, feeling the warmth of his words seep into her very bones. "We did it together. Every step, every challenge, brought us here. I trust us. I trust that whatever comes, we will face it as one." The stars above seemed to shine brighter, as if witnessing the culmination of their journey. Liam tilted his head, brushing a soft kiss across Maya's lips, a kiss that was tender, affirming, and filled with the promise of tomorrow. They lingered there, wrapped in each other's arms, savoring the serenity and the certainty of their love. In that quiet moment, they understood fully that love was not just about passion or fleeting moments of happiness. It was about courage, trust, resilience, and the willingness to embrace life's uncertainties together. Maya rested her head against Liam's shoulder, feeling a deep sense of peace. "I think the universe really did conspire for us," she whispered. Liam smiled, his eyes reflecting the stars above. "I think it did. And we finally crossed our stars, finding each other exactly where we were meant to be." As they sat beneath the starlit sky, the city humming softly around them, they knew that this was only the beginning. Their love had weathered storms, distance, and doubt, and it had emerged stronger, brighter, and more beautiful than they had ever imagined. Together, they faced the future with hope, courage, and a bond that would carry them through anything life had in store. And so, under the gentle glow of the night, Maya and Liam embraced the magic of their connection, the triumph of love, and the quiet certainty that sometimes the universe truly aligns to bring two hearts together.